Maher. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But there was a question that Bill Maher asked, and it feels like a lot of times, especially when Black Democrats try to answer the question, they fumble. So I just want to show you guys this. So here we go. And I want you guys to give what you would say to Bill Maher. So let's go.
Like Chicago, like most of the shootings are young Black men killing other young Black men. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, much more than what the cops do. Why doesn't anybody talk about that? Well, I mean, why aren't there,
we do.
100?
This is what white people do all the time. Hold up.
Who would have the
This
respect?
is gonna be a very hard video clip to get into. This is gonna be very hard.
I mean, we could just comment on that. You don't even got to say nothing else.
This is gonna be a very hard video to get to. Because you have white people say this all the time. They say, why are Black people so worried about government sanctioned killing of their people? Why wouldn't we be worried about that? Then they say, why don't you guys focus more on black crime? As if we in the community, we getting killed and no one having a conversation about it. Like Bill Maher. So apparently Bill Maher he has his posts on the streets. He got his posts on the hood. He hear what we talking about. Nigga,
what he means to say is, why is nobody talking about that nationally? That's what he means to say is, why nobody talking about that nationally? Like we're talking about those. Why would we go to white communities to talk about black on black crime? Why would we do that? Why wouldn't we just go to other Black people and talk? That doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't hear these conversations, Bill. The conversations you're talking about, you're not invited to those conversations.
Exactly. So
even by marriage.
Let's continue. I can go on so much on this point, but JB, go ahead and we can continue.
But here's the thing: the gentleman that he asked the question to, he fumbles. All right.
Of course he does.
He's probably a black capitalist.
A Black liberal can't handle that question.
Right. If you ask this to somebody who's in the system, a Black person who's participating in the blue-red system, they don't have an answer for this because they're not going to attack capital. That's why they don't have an answer. They're going to fumble. This is an easy answer to have, and we'll get to that. But go ahead with the video if you like, JB.
All right.
Would have the respect of those people saying, "What are you doing to yourselves? Why are you killing each other?"
Way to live.
Hey, pause.
Community.
Let it play. Like that's so ridiculous. Like, you see, that's racist, and you don't even realize. He said, "Why are you guys doing this to yourself?" Question: JB, have you shot and killed someone? CJ, have you shot and killed someone? You guys see how the sins of Black people are always propagated on the entire community? Imagine if I went to a random white dude. Imagine if I went to Billy. Like, Billy, why don't you do something about the Iraq War? Why is white America going and killing people all over the world? Billy be like, what the fuck? I got nothing to do with that. That's what we're like whenever you motherfuckers bring up black crime. And that has nothing to do with us.
It's just so stupid. It's such a stupid point because it's so easily proven. And the first person who I heard this was in a rap song, Talib Kweli. It's so stupid because statistically, it's the same numbers. When you're talking about white people killing white people, it's the same numbers as Black people killing Black, as Latin people killing Latin. It's the same numbers because we're segregated, you dumb fuck. Because listen, the same reason it would be like Germany saying, "Hey, why are you worried about bombing Germany? What about American on American crime?" It's because Americans live around each other, dumb fuck. Who are we gonna murder but each other? What crime? Who are we going to commit crime against? But each other. That's who you live around. Just so these statistics are the same. So why isn't he asking? Why aren't we talking about white on white crime then?
Because he is brainwashed and participating in the brainwashing. Because he doesn't realize that what he's talking about is crime of proximity. You basically commit crimes against people within your proximity. And most white people are around other white people. Like, for instance, we should ask him, why are all these white fathers they're killing their entire families when things go awry? Why don't you do something about it? Or we can ask Bill Maher about all the school shootings and pin that on him. But we don't because we know it's just a crime of proximity. So the same thing has to be done regarding us. It's always a crime of proximity. Black people are around black people. So, of course, that's what's going to happen.
And last point before we continue the video, we got to have a conversation about what is a crime, because white people in white America love their fucking crime statistics where they only criminalize the black community. They're like, oh my God, look how the black crime rate is so much higher than the white crime rate, ignoring that our communities are extremely policed. And they ignore, like, when you have a Wall Street banker who illegally forecloses on someone's home and they go homeless, how is that not violence? How is that not essentially murdering someone? We have people, you have police, and we have a system that's built by white America that have migrants and children in detention cells where they was reported they was being raped by DHS and law enforcement officers. Does that count as a crime? Every single time a migrant immigrant is raped by our state, does that get a mark as white crime? If a white officer, every time a U.S. soldier murders a citizen overseas, does that get marked as a crime for the white community? No, it does not. The crime of the white community is legalized. They have legalized white collar crime. They have legalized murder. They call it our law enforcement system. They call it our military industrial complex. And then when people die by, they're like, whatever, it is what it is. No, the way I say it, that's y'all fucking crimes. That's why whenever they say the black community is uniquely violent, I'm like, did the black community kill 2 million people in Iraq? Did the black community torture millions of people because of Operation Condor? You guys see how they count every violent thing the black community does, but they motherfucking lead genocide. Oh, that doesn't count. We're a country. No, that's a crime, motherfucker. That's a crime. That's a legalized crime that you guys do that you guys don't mark down. Period.
You know,
right.
Go ahead, see Gerald, JB. We continue the video.
I was just gonna say that's what you do. If you say, if you're the person who draws a line between crime and not, and you say everything I do is on the side of not crime, and then you go, look, why are you doing that? But this is the point. Let me put it as an analogy. It'd be like being on a plantation, and then the slave owner saying, what? Why are you worried about who I'm killing? Why don't you worry about the slave on slave crime that's going on? Yeah. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? So he's basically trying to say, you don't even value your own lives. You're killing yourselves. And it's manifested through when black men are killing, whatever example that he gave. And the problem with this question and why people like, these milquetoast black people can't answer it is because this is a problem this is a question that starts with capitalism and slavery. The answer to this question starts there. Yeah. And that's not, so this is not an answer. This is not an answer that I can just go sum up in a couple of lines. The answer to this question, why a black male will run over drugs and kill somebody over shoes, why is that happening? That starts with slavery. Mm-hmm. You're not ready to have that conversation, white America. You're not ready to have that conversation. It'll blow your mind to understand how that's connected. You'll be like, what? Because you're waking up out of the propaganda that has been like forced into your brain through education, through your culture. This video clip that we play all the time, it's all about gaslighting. It's all about pretending what's happening to people is not happening. That's what this is all about. What's happening to you black people is not. What do you mean? The police is killing you. You guys are killing yourselves. You see what I mean? It's gaslighting. What's happening to you is not happening to you by the police. It's your own selves, people.
Mm-hmm. And
so
just
ridiculous.
And this guy, Bill Maher's a liberal too, by the way. This disgusting shit that we didn't even get to this black guy's answer yet because Bill Maher is so disgusting.
You don't even need to play it. I think we're having a conversation. I don't think you need to play it, JB. We're having a conversation, yeah.
Yeah, CJ, JB, this is the person that the Bernie progressive left is trying to gaslight us to thinking that is our ally. They would say, why you guys are not comfortable voting with Democrat? They would say that the liberals are our allies. Why the conservatives are our enemy? The liberals are the closest people we have to our friend. listen to what Bill Maher is saying right here. They consider this motherfucker our friend. This is what a white liberal is, guys. This is why I tell you guys, white liberals are as racist, and I personally, and I speak anecdotally, have more racist bullshit that come from white liberals than conservatives any day. And this is what Bill Maher propagates, as you hear right now. But JB, I know you want to try.
White liberals just have logic. They have their logic behind what makes them not racist. I'm not racist because I don't use the N-word. That what makes me not racist. My opinion on the police state has nothing to do with race. That has to do with safety. You see how now I've rationalized myself out of being racist? I don't use the N-word. And the reason I support police state, it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with safety. Whitewashing. Go ahead, JB, if you want to play it some more. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things that I honestly would tell people when they talk about this is I want you to go on Google and look up who has the most oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the word. I'm forgetting the word, but yeah, so who has the most not acquittals, but I forgot the word. For some reason my mind went blank. I had it in here. Yeah. But but I'll continue really quick. And I'll get it once we
I'm interested to see what the black guy says. Because we know he's about to fuck. You already spoiled it, but we already know he's about. I can tell by the way this motherfucker looks that he's about to fuck. The fact that he was even invited on Bill Maher's show is I know he's gonna fuck this up.
Like Ajamu. Imagine if he invited Ajamu.
Oh, he would
answer this question. Yeah, come on.
Live. This dishonors our community. Come on. We're better than this.
Right. I feel like it's never addressed.
And what I would want to observe is that any structural move that you want to make requires a majority of the people to get behind it. Requires democratic politics to get behind it. And in order to get a majority of the voters in Chicago or any place else to get behind anything that's going to cost them money, they have to feel
Loury,
safe.
right?
They have to feel that.
I do not know who the hell he is.
Loury, and I only know him because of Bad Faith Podcast. Bree introduced him to me because she had a debate with this guy. This guy is a coon of the highest order. Unapologetic, black capitalist, right-wing kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that was like, the problem with the black community, it isn't oppressive capitalism. It isn't the police state that steals our wealth. It's because black people listen to too much of the hip-hop. They don't pull up the fans. That's this guy.
And that's the guy he's asking the question. You see?
Yes. This is the guy.
That's the guy he's asking the question.
Bill Maher brought the coonest of coons to bring. And if you guys are curious, look up Bree's debate with Glenn Loury, because I think Bree did a great job, and she's extremely patient because she brought this guy on and she dismantles him. And to this guy's credit, there was a few times where he concedes, like, yeah, Bree, you're actually right on this. Bree, you're actually right. Because they were talking about black community, and she was picking apart what he was getting wrong. And it's not, he has a right-wing, pull your boots up bootstrap mentality. He blamed the black community for everything. And that's why white America, right-wing, white America loves this guy. This guy is way more massive than RBN will ever be. Black radical politics will never be more popular than the kind of politics that he does, where he tells white Americans why they should feel good about your country. Why it's not your fault, it's our fault for our oppression. He's the Candace Owens for that. And believe it or not, he's way better than Candace Owens, because Candace Owens is like an obvious clown. Like he's the guy who will sit there and he will, in a very educated, bullshit manner, explain to you why your oppression is your fault. So check out Bree's debate with this guy, because Bree dismantles him, and she brings up basic points that he never even considered. Anyway, that's a long preface, but let the video continue, because I know exactly who this motherfucker is. Because after that debate, I started paying attention to do more. Bree introduced him, and ever since that debate, I would see random takes from him. He always there leading in with some tune-ass shit. So let's. It's very interesting that Bill brought this guy on, and of course he floundered it. But continue, JP.
what I wanted to say before was look up who has the most exonerations in the United States and what racial group.
Yes.
So just
Exonerations was the word you was trying to remember. Was
yeah.
exoneration?
Look,
That's
go to
not a
drug.
word. That's a word we use maybe once every year. So that's understand.
Yeah,
Seriously,
right?
when do you say exoneration? Seriously, when is the last time, Nick, you said exoneration? Like, we don't say it. That's a word we rarely say. Go ahead, Nick. Go
Yeah.
ahead, JB.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
They have to feel safe. They have to feel that the people who are in charge are on their side. And that's why Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson needs to come and give speeches in which he says this is contemptible behavior. We
Of
won't
course he
tolerate
says
it in our
that.
city. The reason we have cops is precisely in order to stop this from happening. And if you do it on
And
my
they haven't
watch,
though.
you're going to go to
Pause,
jail.
hold up.
He's like-
I'll be quick because I want the video to keep playing. So I'll be very quick.
Yeah.
They always say this shit. We got cops, and why you guys keep undermining the cops? Let the cops do the jobs that they're clearly not doing.
And
You
you
guys
can't
are
say this
fucking
about
Rahm
Chicago.
Emanuel.
They're talking about Chicago. Chicago has the highest per capita. They spend the most money on the police. You can't blame the crime on the police.
Bro,
Yeah.
So what's happening? What's happening in Chicago? Go ahead.
I wish these motherfuckers had me on these panels, man. Because these people say the dumbest stuff. These
They would
Yeah.
never have you on.
These PMCs say the dumbest stuff and they say with confidence. And this is why Bree destroyed this guy, dismantled him, because they just say shit that makes no sense on face value. You guys said, we have all these cops. This is why we have a crime problem, because you guys are undermining the cops, even though the cops is not solving the problem. Like, if you were there on that panel, all you have to do is just simply bring the obvious follow-up question is, if cops are going to solve this, why haven't they with historic police budget? No, and they do this all the time on these liberal panels. They're like, man, yeah, they undermine cops. Yeah, man, we need to get more money in police. They ignore the obvious that police has been more well-funded, more well-armed. We have the most well-armed, well-funded, militaristic police force in human history. Do you guys understand? In the history of humanity, society has never seen a police force like we have in the United States of America. If they're not stopping crime now, they never will.
Yeah.
Never will. Go ahead, JB. And then
Yeah,
we continue. I want to hear more about it. That's such an obvious point to make. And as an abolitionist, as someone who founded 10 Demands, I did so much oppo on these people. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. They be like, ha ha, you fucking silly leftists. You guys want to solve public safety? Crime is up. Yeah, we spend a lot of money on policing. Yeah, we determine public policy for decades. But crime is up, and but for some reason it's your fault. It's your
And
fault.
we
that
need to
crime is
make
up.
speeches. We got to get them and make speeches so that it'll stop the Crips and Bloods from shooting each other. Like, dude, come on.
But you see
Will
how the
not
liberal
stop
class
gang activity, housing, food, education will. See, this is the thing that they don't get. And they're always getting there like, oh, we just need to have our black leaders talk to. Like, no, they're not leaders. What did Malcolm X say? They're a bunch of clowns. They're clowns. So why are we going to have clowns talk to people who are literally starving, who have to steal food just to eat, who have to sell a brick on the side of the road just in order to pay for their rent? Like, that's not going to help. Talking to a clown doesn't help. Feeding us will. Housing us will. That's the thing that people don't. Oh my God, these people, they get on my nerves because it's just like, dude, the answer's right in front of you. It's like, okay, I'm busting through a window to get a TV. Why? Maybe so that I can pawn it. Why? Because I need money. Why? Because I'm hungry.
JB, look. Let's take a second to analyze how unserious his answer was, and let's play more of the video. Look at this comment right here. It said, "When was the last time a damn speech did anyone any good?" And this is another one I found. Yes, because our community is always based, and this Ray Bob person said yes. And Mayor giving moralizing speeches is truly the answer to crime. And yeah, go back like maybe 10 seconds. Play that part again. You guys see how unserious Glenn Loury these shit libs are? They literally said the answer to crime is that this motherfucker give a speech, and then people are gonna be moved, and the crime. This is how unserious they are. Go ahead, CJ. I know you want to try.
But before you play it, but I wanted to point out this. You see how the white moderate. You see how Bill Maher is supposed to be a liberal, but he's here trying to prop up the police state. That's what this is about. Because Brandon Johnson is supposedly the defund the mayor. He's the defund the police mayor. Because he doesn't say defund the police, but he's saying we should he's saying what it is. That's supposedly what he's gonna do. I'll believe it when I see it. I think this guy just saying bullshit, and I think the police union is gonna twist his arm, and he's eventually not gonna do what he's saying he's gonna do. But because he is even sort of is saying things that would be like reallocating things, Bill Maher, the one who's supposed to be progressive, liberal, on our side, black people, is playing the white liberal, bringing on a black coon because he can't have a white person saying this. So he says, I got to have a black face. Yep. Find the coonest ass motherfucker out there. And he did, and brings him on to prop up the police state. This is Bill Maher trying to prop up the police state. Go ahead, JB.
That's so pathetic.
All right. Coontastic.
In which he says this is contemptible behavior. We won't tolerate it in our city. The reason we have cops is precisely in order to stop this from happening. And if you do it on my watch, you're going to go to jail.
But they haven't.
To say that in order to get the white taxpayers in the city not to move
white liberals like hell yeah. Thank you, Glenn. Finally a good one.
Like
one of the good ones
comes up with.
But I mean, okay. So I also read this week in the paper, one in 3 children in America cannot read at a basic level of comprehension. 85% of black students lack proficiency in reading skills. We already spent a lot of money on schools. So you're going to keep telling me more money will fix this? Because I feel like this is much more connected to the problem.
How is this person an ally? How is this person an ally to anybody? How is Bill Maher an ally to who?
No. Look. This is one of the reasons why I was sad he was here, because she can break this guy down right here. But here's the thing that people like Bill Maher doesn't understand. Your zip code dictates how much taxes go to a particular school district and a particular school.
So
therefore, the ones with the lower taxes tend to be the worse off neighborhoods. And so guess what? The ones with the more richer neighborhoods actually end up paying more taxes that go to their schools.
And No Child Left Behind. And No Child Left Behind. That combined with No Child Left Behind, which my state has, like the higher that you get on these bullshit state test scores determine your school funding. My school was funded to shit. Like our school was garbage compared to Lee Summit, compared to
come down to Compton High. Come down to Compton High and you tell me. So how JB is making a very good point, because schools are funded by local housing taxes. So if you don't own a home, guess what happens? You don't get any money. So if you go to a school down by the projects in Watts, you're living in projects. Who's paying taxes for your school? No one. So what do you think their school's going to look like, Bill fucking Maher? So what do you think their quality of education is going to look like? That's just one hurdle. How about hunger, bitch? Because their parents are getting paid slave wages, bitch.
Liberals
think it's a complete not understanding of what people are going through.
Yeah.
As black people are supposed to do all types of flips through this oppression to achieve the American dream. And when we don't, you want to point to a statistic without telling the story of repression, oppression, racism, defunding schools, you fucking piece of shit. This is disgusting what this guy is doing. And then we're going to have him one day say something good, and then everybody going to say, oh, to Bill Maher.
Fuck Bill Maher. So according to the liberal brain, this guy is better than Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
This guy led with why are the blacks killing each other and why can't the blacks read? That's what he just did. But liberals think this guy is better than Tucker Carlson. This guy has the moral high ground over nobody. Liberals legitimately think they have a moral high ground over Tucker Carlson. I have watched Tucker Carlson way more have I done in this last year than I have usually in corporate media in my entire life. Tucker Carlson does a lot of disgusting stuff. Tucker Carlson never stuck this low. We just straight up said the blacks are killing each other. The blacks can't read. And I watched Tucker. What Bill Maher did right here is worse than anything you'll see from Dream Pierre, Dream Pirro, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson. Our thesis is they're the same. That's why we
Because he
don't
can get
have
away
Trump
with it.
syndrome.
That's why.
They're the fucking same people. And they have Trump derangement syndrome, and Jimmy does a great job pointing this out. They have Trump derangement syndrome because they see Trump in their shadow. They see Trump is what they see themselves as, so they got to overly project. Bill Maher hates Trump because this motherfucker is worse than Trump, as bad as Trump. This guy is a racist scumbag. Based on this, what you just see here, as bad as anyone else you will hear from right-wing media. And Mouse, I see you. They're right. Malcolm warned us. This is the white liberal that Malcolm has warned us about. You guys,
I felt like you were gonna say a point. I feel like I hear where you were gonna go with. Let me hear what you were gonna just about to say. I want to keep it on your tongue. I want to hear it because I felt like I hear you were just about to say. Go ahead, JB.
Well, no, CJ, your anger, I felt that here. Remember what I said? You need to be my anger translator. That's why. But the thing is that somebody like Bill Maher is really just a stenographer for the empire. And the thing is that he can say this because people will go, well, he's a liberal and he's a Democrat. So because of that, he's on our side. He's just telling us, he's just one of our allies telling us what we need to hear. That's all it basically is. And in reality, he's basically doing what a lot of Democratic presidents have been able to do, is pull the fascist type of logic while having on the face of, see, I'm just a friend. When in reality, look at what happened with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, he ushered in the Telecommunications Act of 1996. He also helped usher in the crime bill of 1994. So all these things that were really, underpinnings for fascism was done by a Democratic president. I'm not saying that the Republicans are any better, but really the Republicans, all they do is rack up the pins, and then who knocks the pins down is the Democrat. And that's how it goes every single time. Mm-hmm. Even in rhetoric, like Bill Maher's, a Republican may rack up the pins, but who's knocking the pins down? Is Bill Maher. He's the one that's saying all this racist BS. And now you have all his audience clapping for it. And then you got this dude that's just a black face that is used to co-sign for it. And in reality, Bill Maher wouldn't dare have people like you, CJ, you, Nick, Ajamu Baraka, Sabby Sabs, Margaret Kimberly. He wouldn't dare have any of us on, because the minute we talk about that, we would call him out on this racist bullshit. And I would be like, and don't you dare bring up you have a black wife into this, because guess what? Slave masters rape black women too.
Who has a black wife?
No. I'm like, no, do not play this bullshit, because that's
what does that mean? Yeah, Thomas Jefferson had a black slave that he had sex with and has kids with. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, you can't be sexually attracted to somebody you see as less? Isn't that patriarchy? That happens all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that is
such
patriarchy.
A stupid. It's such. Yeah, that's the definition of that. Is what, not the definition. That is what patriarchy is. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the dynamic with a lot of male-female relationships, where you're in love with a person you see as less. So what do you mean? Like, that can't be the dynamic that you can be racist and be married to a black person. Mm-hmm. One doesn't exclude the other. But guys, I've already went past my time. I was supposed to leave 10 minutes ago to go get my daughter. So I'm gonna hop out. You guys finish. I'm gonna watch while you finish. I know you got another a short segment, so I gotta get running because I'm gonna be late.
Yeah.
Sorry. I gotta abruptly go, but it was so good. It was like, this Bill Maher shit was so good. I had to. She's watching. My daughter's watching too, so I'll be on my way, babe. All right. I'll see you guys.
See you, CJ.
Did you want me to continue or finish
Let's
it up? Or?
continue. Yeah, we can continue.
Okay, all right. We got just like a couple minutes, like I think a few seconds left actually. So, whoo, this guy. All right. Let me go back a few seconds. All right.
Of people who can't read, yes, they're going to have problems with gainful employment. And it seems like, you know, a lot of times the solutions that come from the left seem symbolic. They don't seem like we're actually addressing what really needs to be done is get kids learning, get them reading, get them able to have a job. I don't know how.
How do you turn that to a left criticism? Like he's performing class warfare. That's exactly what he's doing. Because he said, "What the left is unserious about the solutions to the literacy problem in the United States." Even though Cuba, a communist country, has a better literacy rate than the United States, despite a Cuban blockade. Why do they do that? China as well. Our literacy rate is a joke because of right-wing politics, because of defunding of schools. So how did that become a left criticism? As if left politics was implemented. Bill Maher was like, oh my God, look at this problem that our society is facing. Goddamn lefties. Who was in charge? Our country has been dominated by trickle-down right-wing politics my entire life, and that's me being very conservative with the estimate there. Now, I was born in 91. And since 91, our country has been hard right-wing. So how does the left wing get criticized for the result of this country? That's what Bill Maher did. He said, oh my God, look at the blacks who can't read. Goddamn lefties. How does that make sense? He punching down instead of punching up. He's going to vote for Jim Crow Joe and all these capitalists who's the result of this, but he's going to punch down. Bill Maher is a scumbag of the highest order, and liberals like him, but they want us, they hate Tucker Carlson. They think Tucker Carlson the worst. They are the same thing, okay? Now, JB also had a story, but I don't know if you have anything else to share.
Well, I just wanted to show one more thing before we end on this topic. This is out of apmresearchlab.org. This says about 130 million adults in the U.S. have low literacy skills, according to Gallup analysis of data from the U.S. Department of Education. This means more than half of Americans between the ages of 16 and 74, which is 54%, read below the equivalent of a sixth grade level. The illiteracy problem is not a black problem. It's a United States problem. And most of the country, most of the country is actually white. So therefore, if you're going to talk about literacy rates, let's talk about the entire country. And let's talk about how our schools are constantly defunded, especially from the right.
But notice he brings up literacy.
Why is Bill Maher speaking for the right? That is interesting.
But notice how literacy rates come up. You bring up how literacy rates is high in the country. But people think that Bill Maher is not racist when literacy rate just so happened to come up in a conversation about the black community. You can talk about anything else. What does it say about you that when you talk about black people, the first thing that comes to your mind is literacy rates? Oh, we talking about black people. Oh my God, why are literacy rates so high? Will you do that if you were talking about a white person or issue the white community facing? Will you be like, oh my God, what is the literacy rate of Virginia? No, you would not do that. No, you would not. That's just your first thought.
Rate of Montana.